Welcome back from the break. Thanks for staying with us. We're grateful that you can make some very good time to be with us here on Wake Up Africa. It's live on Dominion TV on television, of course, live on My Dominion TV, on Facebook, Instagram, on YouTube, and of course, X. And so you can join us wherever you are, be a part of the show, drop your comments, your thoughts, your submissions, and your questions will share with the world indeed. Let's now get ready for the news review segment. This is where we get to serve you details of news making headlines here in Ghana, of course, elsewhere outside our country, Ghana. My guests have joined me via Zoom. Reverend Xavier Demoji is a clinical engineer and also an assistant pastor with the Action Chapel International, Teshi. He joins us via Zoom, and also Reverend Nanaya Bafo-Boni is an architect and of course a builder, and also pastors the Eagles Network International Ministries. He also joins us for a Monday morning like never before. Good morning, and thank you very much, Revs, for your time.
Thank you very much for having us this morning, Koku. I trust your weekend was good.
It was uneventful, but it was good. I came to work yesterday as well, but it was good. Well, Reverend Xavier, I hope you're fine too.
Oh, by grace, I'm doing well. I hope you're also doing great.
All is well. All is well. All is well. Well, let's start off on a very sad news. And veteran actor Mauli Semevo has been involved in a severe fire accident and currently battling his life at the hospital. The actor's house caught fire on Friday, February 7th, while he was asleep and was rushed to the hospital for medical care. Reports indicate that the incident has affected 44% of the actor's body, leading to a respiratory injury which has affected his breath. The cause of the fire is yet to be identified. There are quite a number of people who have called for support already, but let me just take your initial thoughts in about 1 minute on this particular one. Let me start off with you, Reverend Xavier.
Yeah, good morning to our cherished viewers. It is a very sad news to hear a veteran actor being hospitalized as a result of fire outbreak. It's very alarming, some of these issues that keep coming up day in, day out. It's very sad for him to go through such an incident in his house. This also just to notify us about some of the measures that Ghana, the fire service is taking, in terms of building. What are the modalities that we put in place when it comes to building permit? Do we usually get a fire permit? Because it's very sad for such an individual to lose property and a lot of things. It's not just him, it happens to a lot of people. So I think it's high time a country as a whole put in measures to curtail some of these incidents. It's very sad for him to go through this. And I personally appeal to everyone to come to his aid to help him in this dying moment.
Yeah. Reverend Anaya, sad one. There are quite a number of things I want to say.
When I saw the news yesterday, I had to go and read the whole article just to be sure that he was still alive. 44%. And Mauli Semevo is not young.
No.
Well, I'll be turning 46 in a few months, just in about 2 months. And growing up 8-year-old, 10-year-old, I was watching him with Edina Matachi, Akofa, Genius, Yedu, Jagapi, he made the Ekakov statement very popular. If it was in these days of social media, I'm sure it would have been used for a meme. Like all this, I don't want peace, I always want problem. Ekakov really traveled. He was a face in a lot of commercials. Yeah. And I think the late, I've forgotten his name, you call himself a name and say headmaster of Abafum Secondary, aka something for short. This Mpule series they did on Thursday Theater. Yeah. This man has really graced our screen and given us something to laugh about. It's sad. I don't know what the Actors Guild normally do, whether the guilds are even strong and they are really well resourced, because it seems that anytime our actors grow old or they have these challenges, there's always some sort of the community and the larger society has to reach out to try and help. I'm not saying we shouldn't, but I'm saying that we should start taking care of our own. It happens to the footballers when Sir Atukwefi was not well. All the time you have to fall onto the larger public. And I think that the government should look at strengthening some of these associations, maybe helping them be able to make strategic investments whilst they are in active service, so that they can have something to fall back on. And I will agree with Reverend Xavier on his comment on the issue of building inspection. You know, some of these things ought to be looked at, because when you have a typical open market economy like we've been practicing it since the days of President J. Kufuor, so many goods flood in. And so if our standards authority are not strong with their regulation, and the municipal assemblies are not strong in their permit and building inspectorate assignment, we are going to see a lot of these inferior things coming in, starting electrical fires, and then resulting in issues like this. I mean, this is a celebrity by all standards. This is a very well-known person. So this news will trend. But what about people whose houses have caught fire who are not known by anyone? And I think the spate of fire outbreaks in this 2025 is just over the top. And we should look at finding some permanent solutions to it. And I'll add my voice to Reverend Xavier's call that all of us who can, I think there's an NGO which is in charge of helping burn victims. I think they put out the article and they put some Momo number and things out there. Interestingly, they actually use a merchant ID, which means that it's more authentic. I mean, somebody cannot receive the money falsely. Whatever little we can send in there, 50, 100, 200, 5,000, let's do the best that we can to keep this man alive. He's an institution.
Indeed. The last time I checked here, I think he was in charge of National Theatre. I don't know whether he's off, but truthfully,
yeah, he's one of the staff members there.
Yes, truthfully,
I think at Bibi Groma, there's a group be like there. Bibi Groma something.
Yes, yes.
He seems to play an active role.
Yes, the last time I checked, looking, I don't know what he does, but he's not in a good condition, like how you described him. And so there's a bigger conversation we need to have around how they are paid, because I know, I mean, peanuts. How the money's paid to actors here is just peanuts. Anyways, so we wish him all the best. We'll see how we can also find those in charge and then put out numbers there and get people to support and all of that. But let's move to some other story, shall we? The National Security has intercepted 12 containers of fake US dollars suspected gold bars as well. The National Security operatives have intercepted a significant haul of counterfeit money and suspected gold bars concealed with 12 20-foot shipping containers. May I repeat that? 12-foot shipping containers. Acting on a tip-off, officers raided a warehouse in Sapiman within the Gan South municipality where the illegal stash was uncovered. Upon inspection, bundles of the fake US dollars were found inside wooden boxes which had been hidden within cement to avoid detection. Other items seized included counterfeit Ghana CD notes as well as fake Ghana Army uniforms and boots, raising further security concerns. Authorities have confirmed that 2 of the containers remain unaccounted for, with intensified efforts underway to locate them. Well, meanwhile, a manhunt has been launched for 4 individuals, including a suspected ringleader identified as only as Alaji. National Security has assured the public that investigations are ongoing to dismantle the operation and bring our culprits to justice. Reverend Xavier.
Yeah, we thank the National Security for such a swift action that they are taking to apprehend those that are involved in this act. Listening to the news and watching what is happening, it's very sad that things have turned this way for 12 containers of 20-footer container to come to this country. It raised a lot of security issues. The question is, where was the containers taken from? What happened at the port? What modalities took place? Were the inspections done appropriately? It is very sad that sometimes we have some of these things coming to the country with fake money laundering, not just Ghana cedis, US dollars. It's a very serious issue that I think the security apparatus should take swift action, because this thing can really mar the integrity of Ghana. For people to have not just 1 or 2, but 12 containers of these items is a very serious issue. It's very serious. I think this thing has been going over the years. I think it's not the first time something like this has happened And I believe strongly that it's not just 4 people that are involved. There are a lot of people that are involved, from the ports, those involved in clearing the issues, the security personnel that are involved. All those that are involved in this crime should be apprehended in time, so that we don't have some of these things coming into the country. Look at it, security uniforms and other things, not just gold, not just fake currency, but other things that can threaten the security of this country. I think it's high time we put our very strict measures on how things come into this country, how things are being cleared, what are the checkpoints, what do they do? Are they doing the right thing, or is just people just looking at a container and believing that whatever is being stated is in it? So we really thank the national security for such an action, and I think all should come in to make sure that those that are involved in such crime are apprehended in time, to create a very great image of the country, not just a country, just for all of us. Because when the international organizations start hearing issues like this, it's a very bad thing to the development of this country.
Indeed, certainly put. Reverend Ayal.
Yeah, Koku, I mean, I'll just reiterate some of the points that Reverend Xavier has raised there. That, when I saw the story, even without reading it, I just prompted my wife. I told her that this thing is likely an incident of a tip-off. And why did I conclude that? If you remember very well, even when we were growing as children, it looks like almost all the time when the police are able to uncover a murder in a movie, it must be the ghost of the person that haunted the murderer till he himself went to the police station and confessed. We can't seem to figure things out. There's too much laxity in our system. I like the swiftness of the response of our national security apparatus, all well and good, but it was a tip-off. And that is the issue that Reverend Xavier raised, which I want to re-echo. What happens at the point of entry? Because this is not the first time. There was even once where a wanted murderer had been able to come in from Togo. I think he came through he had some name. I think it was some fugitive guy. I don't know whether you remember that story. He had some bandit name, some very funny name, And he actually was able to enter into our country. We've seen Fulani headsmen come in. Look, do you know what it means to come as a head of cattle? It's not 1 or 2 human beings. It's a head of cattle. They are able to breach our entrances, come through porous border points and enter. Look, our ports should have some serious checks and balances. Whoever is sleeping on the job needs to be held accountable. These are not 2 containers. These are 12 20-footer containers. And can you imagine we are saying 2 are unaccounted for? A container is not like a wallet you can hide. So where are the 2 other containers? Let's get to my point. The whole story doesn't add up. I don't know whether this thing was thrown out there to just make us not follow the thing any further, but it doesn't make sense. Look, the fact that there is fake currency means that there must be some original currency there. If those gold bars are not just ordinary metals and they are really gold bars, then all of the money cannot be counterfeit. It means that perhaps those 2 containers contain the real cash. And these are the things that is pushing up inflation in our system and destabilizing our economy. It has fake CD notes. I'm sure there'll be also proper, genuine CD notes. We should find out who is behind this. Is it the political class? This one business cartel that are connected to the political class that are getting away with these things. We must stop these things. And listen, military uniforms have been found in these things. And I'm sure that maybe there may be even some arms that were also on board. This is a very major issue because we've always heard of threats of people trying to destabilize and overthrow our governments. They come as rumors, then the issues are tried, and they are not tried. This Togoland issue that came up. So we take things for granted too much in this country. And I think that we must stop the laxity at our ports of entry and start to look at things with an eagle eye. Other than that, one of these days, we are going to wake up on the wrong side of the bed. So apart from what Reverend Xavier raised about our image internationally, our internal security is a big issue. If 12 containers, can you imagine if these 12 containers were actually housing terrorists? Terrorists were in the containers, armed, coming in, Al-Qaeda guys. We wouldn't have spotted them until a tip-off. I thought they had electronic scanners that could go through these metals and see what the contents were. What happened? If this was caught at the port, there's stringent measures to see what are inside these things. Who gave the pass? So we should find out which particular gate at the port they came through, which officers were at that point And when this particular thing entered into our country, all those guys must be fired. Whoever was in charge of the port was a CEO at that time, must be fired. At least our SIC issue has made us see that some of our CEOs are giving very good perks. They must work for the perks and the monies they get. But this laxity is too bad. I mean, it's so dangerous. Let me just digress a little. I mean, look at this big estate that is right across at 37. When I saw it as an architect, I told somebody, I don't know who gave a permit for this, because the kind of sniper rifles they have now, somebody lying on the roof of that building can easily kill our president at his desk. No high-rise building having uninterrupted view should even be within a certain radius of our seat of government. You won't see it at the White House. I think that Ghana, we are this from and if we are not careful, one of these days we'll wake up at the wrong side of our beds. So please, the security must be tightened at the port. No more laxity. Even the person mentions that he's the president, he's the vice president, let's follow procedure. Let us not make exemption for anybody, irrespective of their political connections, and let's do our work stringently, so that for the sake of all of us, we'll find safety and peace in this country. I mean, when I saw this, I was really terrified and worried.
Yeah. One has to be worried watching this, because what it means is that there are quite a number of things that have also passed through that we might not have any knowledge of. So what is coming in and what's going out is something we need to begin to avert our minds to. And so very great contributions. And we hope someone is listening, and we know people are watching and listening as well. Let's go to some other story. Last week I chanced on a post by the boss at the NIA, Mr. Yayira Koku. Let me just read it to all of us so that it gives a background to what the African Center for Digital Transformation has urged the National Identification Authority to do. So this is what the boss of NIA wrote on his Facebook page. Imagine linking your Ghana card to Momo and bank accounts so that you can pay for goods and services without knowing the vendor's phone number or Momo details. Imagine your card goes missing, but you simply walk into a booth, pay, provide your fingerprint, and replacement card is printed on the spot without having to visit the NIA office and wait in a long queue. Imagine using your Ghana card as your driver's license, eliminating the need to visit the DVLA for fingerprints. Just present your card and the integrated system will handle the rest. Consider applying for a passport from the comfort of your home with your Ghana card, then walking in to collect it or having it delivered via Ghana Post. Envision booking your Ghana card appointment online, bypassing long queues and completing the process from the comfort of your home. Think of linking your Ghana card to toll booths apps for seamless payments as you pass through, using it to access countless services effortlessly. What about accessing NIA services after 5 p.m. to cater for those who work from 8 to 5 p.m.? This and much more is what the NIA envisions for the future in collaboration with partners and stakeholders. It ties into what the African Center for Digital Transformation has urged the National Identification Authority, the Bank of Ghana, and financial institutions to do. That is to ensure that the Ghana card functions as an ATM card. I saw a post that counters this by someone that had a Nigerian name. I'll look for that. But let me pick the thoughts of Reverend Xavier on this. Reverend Xavier, can you hear me? Okay. Reverend Anayao, can you hear me?
Hello.
Yes, Reverend Xavier, you're on.
Yeah, I was saying that it's a good policy of digitization. You know, it's a good policy that the former government has put in place, and I think the continuity of it would be the best for us. For our Ghana card to be linked to our bank account to be used as at ATM services, I think it's a step in a good direction, and we should all embrace such things. But the question is, the security with cybercrime and fraud should be looked at. It should not be an issue of just linking your Ghana card with your account, and other people can easily get access to hack your account and do other things. So I think it's a step in the right direction, but the modalities of security should be looked at carefully. It should not be an issue of just linking, but we should also look at ways by which it can be safeguarded. It will not just be an issue of you having it, but there should be strict measures to how you can be able to withdraw money from any ATM facility. So I think the banking institution, the Bank of Ghana, and all the stakeholders should come together to see how they can do this to help all of us.
I see. Reverend Anayo.
Yeah, let me just use the opportunity to also commend highly the immediate past government and our former vice president. I think that he took this drive very personally and earned himself the enviable title of Mr. Digital. I think the national ID card issue came up from the days of President Kufuor. I remember I went to Q to take the picture, and they never came up. It came out. I think that time Professor Dumont, Kobla Dumont's dad, was the one tasked to do that thing, and then I think he exited, and then the whole thing sort of came in. When Professor Mills came, he took it up, and then the NCA and all these guys were constituted, and then the exercise took off again. And I think that in the Akufo-Addo administration, Bawumia did a fantastic job with His Excellency Bawumia, and I really commend him for that. I don't know what else, the prosperity dialogue or something, one of this African financial whatever. I think it came up that they are actually Africa is trying to adapt the interoperability concept, and they really praised Ghana for our ability to really move forward when it comes to moving digital money around. And I think that Yaira Koku's concept is another feather in the cap of Ghana. It is a step in the right direction, and we must really push for it. It will make transaction easy, does it? But I'll again rehash what Reverend Xavier said, because even with our few banking apps here and there, sometimes you transfer money, it won't go through. You reach out to your bank, it takes 72 hours before the transaction is reversed. You are paying for utility bills, then they tell you your system is down, and then the money is stuck somewhere. UCG is telling you they've not received it. Momo is telling you they've sent it. I mean, we must deal with all these bottlenecks and also the onslaught of the hackers, so that it does not become an act in futility. But I think that is a step in the right direction. And I think it's one of the ways that can really rope in our rural folk and the unbanked, the larger unbanked community of Ghana, because then this will not really necessarily require even a bank account, but because everything is linked, there's easy transactions, especially when it comes to the suggestion of being able to get a passport and replacing your Ghana card just by getting to a booth and getting it printed. I think it's a fantastic and brilliant idea, and we should encourage Yaira in that direction.
I see we have some few minutes to go, about some 2 minutes. Let's quickly touch base with Africa, the WAEC, the West African Examination Council, announcing that all withheld 2024 West African Senior School Certificate Examination results will be released by February 28th, 2025. The understanding is that the council is currently investigating alleged examination malpractices by some candidates and have withheld the results of these candidates. WAEC said it will finalize the investigations into alleged malpractice irregularities by February 28th. Quite some legal actions have been raised and put against them. They've also sought some, stay of execution on that. But let me take your quick thoughts on that, Reverend Xavier, in about a minute.
Well, I'm happy about the initiative that was taken. To be frank, for someone to send WAEC to court for legal action, I think is the best so far. Over the years, we've been hearing issues of this that results have been withheld as a result of one or two issues, but there have been no substantive proof of exam malpractices. So I think for them coming up with a statement that by 28th of February, all results will be released, I think is a good one. This is something that I've delayed over the years. Is there anytime issues like this come, I think the issue of communication should be prompt. They should be able to elect parents, inform the general public about why some of these results are being held. They don't have to wait till there's pressure on them or someone taking a legal action before they coming out with such recommendations. I think looking forward, this thing should be tackled at the examination centers. We shouldn't wait till results are being released before you say the results are being held because of exam malpractice. If anyone is being caught at these exam centers, it should be tackled just there. The person should write a statement. The police should come in so that the individual is aware that he has done this or this. That is why his results are being held. You don't wait till you hear information that Infante Pim or a school has done this and all students in that institution result are being held. I think it's not the best. People who are responsible should be held culprit for that, not the entire institution or a school for that. I think it's high time we put some of these policies in place.
I see. Well, legal counsel for the students, Mr. Martin Pebo, had argued in courts that WAEC had failed to provide specific details on the alleged malpractices. That sits in what Reverend Xavier has said.
I share in that sentiment because I think WAEC's action goes against the principles of natural justice. You don't punish someone without giving them a fair hearing. So, Reverend Xavier said, the right thing to do is that all these list of students, you can publish them, make them aware so that they can come and seek redress. But you don't hold up everyone else and give no reason until they come and inquire by themselves. And again, if these results are released and some of these students are found not to be culpable, what will be the remedy WAEC will make for them, considering that admissions have already been done? And they're going to stay home for a whole year, missing out on their chance at furthering their education. I think that is unfair. WAEC should expedite marking. WAEC should single out the persons early enough and then use the media platforms available to us to inform the general public of those that they have issues with, and let the issues be resolved appropriately so that people are not unfairly punished. But I think that the pressure brought on WAEC, like Reverend Xavier said, was in the right direction. And I think that there's a certain liberal atmosphere blowing across the nation of Ghana with the onset of our 1992 constitution, and we should push it. And I'm sure it will push the frontiers of accountability and make our society a better one.
But let's also not forget that our country also failed to pay monies to WAEC for marking. And so we need to draw the balance and also cut them some slack.
But the reality is that somebody has taken WAEC to court. Why doesn't WAEC sue for their money? I mean, look, there's a place for legal redress. That's the problem with us. We are so attached to the apron strings of the political class and government that we literally become sycophantic instead of seeking what is right. Let me give you a typical case in my industry. Ghanaian contractors never ask the government to pay interest on their delayed payments because they are afraid if they do, government will not give them job. And yet all the foreign contractors always charge the government for delayed payment and charge interest on it, which is in dollars. You understand? Because if you give us job or not, we will take what is our due. If we all act in concert, some of these things will stop. If the government knows that every Ghanaian contractor, when you delay payment, will charge you interest on the delayed payment, whether you give them job or not, the government will stop. Okay. That's it.
I see.
So the cowardice must end. We must develop some gravitas and get things done.
I see. well, you have a point there. Reverend Anaya Bafo-Boni is an architect and, of course, a builder, and also pastors the church at Eagles Network International Ministries. And also Reverend Xavier Demoji is a clinical engineer, as well, an assistant pastor with the Action Chapel International, Teshi. They join us for the news review segment. Thank you very much for joining us, men of God and men of Valor as well. We're grateful. Do have a wonderful, wonderful week.
You too.
Absolutely.
Thank you for having us.
Indeed. And of course, to you as well. There's more to come here on the Wake Up Africa. You need to stay with us. We have conversations coming up. But for now, we'll take a quick break. When we come back, the show returns.